Welcome to BanjoBenClark.com. I'm Banjo Ben, your host here on the website that teaches you how to play guitar, the mandolin, and this week is my namesake instrument, the banjo. Years ago, I taught Alan Mundy's melodic version to Bill Cheatham, which is a really popular lesson. But I've had lots of requests to teach that more in a Scruggs format. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to learn it more in a Scruggs style, but also talk about how to present a melody that's really busy, like Bill Cheatham and these other fiddle tunes, using these Scruggs style licks. And there's a trick to doing that and not just completely losing the melody. Okay, so we'll talk about that. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, here in a moment, I'll ask you to come over to my website, BanjoBenClark.com. You can join as a Gold Peak member, have access to this lesson, hundreds of other ones. This one's a 20-minute lesson. I've got the tabs exactly as I played it. I also have 3 different speeds of MP3 rhythm tracks you can download and jam along with. All right, let's jump right into this one. Years ago, I taught this song melodically, but I've been getting lots of requests to teach it with more of a Scruggs style approach, so that's what we're going to do. Now, Bill Cheatham is in the key of A. We're in standard G tuning. We're going to play it out of G position, but to get to the key of A, we're going to have to capo up to the 2nd fret, and then I've got my 5th string spiked at the 7th fret, so my strings sound like this. Now, Bill Cheatham shares a common fiddle tune structure in that it gives us an A part that lasts 8 measures, then it will repeat that, then it will change chord progression for a B part that lasts 8 measures, and then it will repeat that. So we have a total of 32 bars or 32 measures, and I'm going to also give you a 4-bar ending. Now let's go ahead and throw the first line of tab up there. A couple things before we get started. One is you have all of your pick hand fingerings written beneath each one of those notes. So pay attention to that because our thumb's going to be really busy. It's going to be playing 4 different strings. The other thing is we start actually in measure 3, as you can see there. That's because the first 2 measures are kickoff measures over in the TEF file. And then also, finally, there in measure 5, you see that big D note written above there. That's the chord that we're over. But whenever we have our capo on, we won't play a D chord. We're going to play a C chord, which is a whole step beneath it. Okay, so I have the actual chord names written on the tab, but of course we're going to play them differently with the capo on. Just don't let that confuse you. All right, so our challenge here is to play this melody that's very, very detailed, but in a Scruggs fashion, Scruggs style fashion. How are we going to do that? Well, I've got to decide which notes I'm going to carry, which notes I'm going to try to nail, and which notes are not that important. So when I think about what the melody does for Bill Cheatham, it starts out like this. I got to think about which ones of those am I going to get. Well, obviously I can easily get the first, and that's what we do there, measure 3. But then my next melody notes are these. Now, unless I want to do that single string, which I could, I've got to come up with something else because I'm not going to play it melodically this time. Well, I could do that by just grabbing some Scruggs style licks. I can aim for that B note, really a C sharp, I know, but capo language, aim for that B note, so we're going to slide into it. And then I want to grab this A note, and we're going to get there by pulling off. Now you can pull off going up like I just did, or down. Doesn't matter. I typically do up whenever I just grab it, but you can do it both ways. Now when we get to measure 5, our melody goes. And we can do that by just simply playing the melody and grabbing a harmony note above it to thicken it up a little bit. And then I'm going to do a quick hammer on at the end of measure 5. And then I'm doing a Scruggs forward reverse roll here, but we're catching a lot of the melody notes that we would want to hear in measure 6. Leading ourselves back down to that D note that we'll catch in the next measure. Now let me do this. I'm going to play it slowly for you, but we're going to play it much slower later on in the lesson. We'll play it all the way through much slower. Now, how would that compare to what it would sound like melodically? Melodically, it would sound like this. Okay, versus. So we still got the same song here. We're just applying it and approaching it a different, 2 different ways. Let's go ahead and go to measure 7 there. We've got some melody repeat here. So measure 7 and 8 are just like measures 3 and 4. And now we're going to wrap up this first A part, and we got to think about what our melody is doing. And the melody goes. something like that. So I'm going to try to find a cool Scruggsy style way to present that. And so we start off with a quarter note. We're going to get in a partial C position where we just play the first two strings. Then coming into measure 10, we're going to do a quick pull off. Reach down and grab that 4th fret. And then the last note of measure 10 is an E note down here. And that's to lead us back down for going through the A part again. Let me play 7 through 10 for you. So now when we go into measure 11, we've got another A part that has the same melody, the same chord progression, but I want to give you a different way to play it.